Hello everyone and welcome back. This time we will be discussing another template that I created that will serve as your guide in writing chapter 2. So before we start, I would like to invite everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dokait Padama and also click that notification bell to alert you when a new video has been uploaded. And also follow my TikTok account with the same name. We also have an FB page entitled Practical Research. This particular FB page will be helpful and useful, especially if you are looking for sources of literature and studies. I have already posted compilations of these sources in this particular FB page. And also, please share and like this video so we can also help our friends, our classmates, and our colleagues with regard to writing this particular part of your research paper, which is chapter 2. Now, before we start, I would like to remind everyone that we will be using the languages Filipino and English for this particular video discussion. And if you want to use this video material as part of your presentation in your class or as part of your discussion, please do get in touch with me and I will give you a written consent so that you will not have any technical problem with regard to the use of this particular video material. So, I would like to start by presenting to you the parts of the template guide, which is divided into two. On your left side is the diagram that represents the template guide in writing chapter 2. So you have from introductory statement up to the unified idea. And we are going to extensively discuss that later on. And on the right side will be the technical terms that will be used in further explaining and emphasizing the process that will be discussed in our diagram. Okay, ulitin natin, sa kaliwa ninyo ay yung proseso, yung step by step na kailangan ninyong sundin at gawin habang isinusulat nyo yung chapter 2 at yung nasa kanan naman ay yung mga technical terms na merong kaakibat na mga definition para mas maintindihan nyo kung anong kahulugan nila habang pinag-uusapan natin itong template guide diagram. So simulan natin sa pag-present ng mga technical terms pero hindi muna natin isasama yung definition nitong mga terms na ito. Bibigyan natin ng bigat at ng emphasis itong mga terms na ito kapag nandun na tayo sa discussion ng inyong diagram para sa template guide. So, una sa mga definition of terms or dito sa mga technical terms natin ay yung introductory statement. Topic ay iba doon sa topic sentence, supporting sentence, citation, synthesis, thematic approach, deductive method, grand synthesis, at unified idea. So these are the terms that will be used for this particular discussion. Chapter 2 of your research paper is entitled Review of Related Literature and Studies. Again, ang pamagat ng ikalawang kabanata ng inyong research ay Review of Related Literature and Studies. And this particular template guide is applicable if the research method that you are using is quantitative. Again, this particular template guide is applicable if the research method that you are using is quantitative. In relation to this, I would like to direct your attention on the shape, doon sa shape na nakikita ninyo sa ating diagram, which is yung baliktad na pyramid. May kinalaman ito doon sa paggamit ng quantitative method. Kapag ang research ninyo ay quantitative method, you are supposed to use the deductive method in writing. Deductive method. If you are using qualitative research as the method of your writing, then you are going to use the counterpart of deductive method, which is inductive method. So bakit baliktad yung shape ng pyramid na ito? So ito ay may kinalaman doon sa pagkakasunod-sunod yung logical organization and sequencing ng pagsusulat ninyo dito sa bahaging ito ng inyong research paper. So tinawag siyang deductive. Mamaya pupuntahan natin yung definition dahil dapat ito ay magsisimula doon sa tinatawag nating general discussion going to pababa sa specific discussion. So yun ang flow na tinatawag natin. Yung flow ng discussion ninyo dito sa paggamit ng deductive method is from general down to the last part to specific. Now, punta tayo doon sa definition ng deductive method. So, according to our definition, deductive method refers to the logical approach where the writer starts with a general premise. So, ito yung operant word natin. Tandaan ninyo yung dalawang salita kapag deductive method may kinalaman sa general at sa specific. So, from general premise or thesis statement and then present supporting evidences, examples, arguments, dito na yung body ng discussion ninyo. Okay? And then arrives eventually at a specific conclusion or a specific statement. So yung last sentence only supports yung unang sinabi niya. It involves moving from general principle or theories to specific observations or conclusions. Ulitin natin, ito yung dahilan kung bakit siya tinawag na deductive at ulitin natin itong deductive method of writing ang ginagamit sa quantitative method ng research. So, wag niyong pagpapalit-palitin yung mga terms na yon, kaya inilagay natin yung iba dito para matandaan ninyo. So, now that we have already established that, we are now going to go doon naman sa tinatawag nating theme or thematic approach. So, itong dalawa ay kailangan ma-establish natin dahil ito yung mga paraan na gagamitin habang kayo ay nagsusulat ng inyong research paper, specifically sa chapter 2. So now that we have already established deductive method, ano naman yung thematic approach? Kasi pagsasabayin natin yan. So pag sinabing theme, meron siyang isang topic, isang central topic, isang central issue kung saan doon umiikot yung discussion. At kung ano yung unang topic mo, dapat susundan, susuportahan ng susunod na topic mo. So, ibig sabihin, yung unang topic dapat relevant doon sa pangalawang topic o sa susunod na topic. Pero basahin natin ano ang definition ng thematic approach. According to this, thematic approach refers to a method of organizing and developing content around a central theme or topic. So instead of presenting information in chronological or sequential order na hindi mo alam kung saan pupunta, hindi mo alam kung related, hindi mo alam kung magkasunod, the thematic approach this time focuses on exploring and discussing ideas, concepts, or issues that revolve around a particular theme or set of themes. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga topics na gagamitin ninyo is relevant, related to a central theme or topic. And this central theme or topic will be linked to your research title. Tungkol saan ba yung research ninyo? So doon naka-angkla, doon nakakonekta yung tinatawag nating theme. So yung mga topic dapat ninyo sa inyong chapter 2 ay may kinalaman doon sa research title na ginagawa ninyo. Okay? So ulitin natin, you are going to combine thematic approach, which is the topic should be relevant to one another, and at the same time, these topics should be in deductive method from the general topic to specific topics. So that is how we're going to combine thematic approach to deductive method. Now that we have already established the method and the approach that we are going to use sa pagsusulat ninyo ng chapter 2, simulan na natin doon sa unang bahagi, which is the introductory statement. So, if you're going to observe, once you start writing chapter 2, merong isang sentence or dalawa or tatlong sentences kayong makikita sa unang bahagi ng chapter 2. So ito ang tinatawag nating introductory statement. So ang introductory statement based from the title to introduce. Ito ay nagpapakilala kung ano yung mababasa, makikita ng mga panelists ninyo, ng mga readers ninyo doon sa susunod na bahagi ng chapter 2. So ganun lang ang pinakasimpleng kahulugan ng tinatawag nating introductory statement. Now, going to the definition of the introductory statement. So this is either a sentence or paragraph. It can be two or more sentences. Pero wag nyo nang habaan. I advise that you go direct to the point. You just present pertinent, important, significant, relevant information. Huwag yun ang pahabain. Just focus on your title. And then after that, introduce kung ano yung makikita doon sa susunod na bahagi pag natapos nilang basahin yung introductory statement. So the role of the introductory statement is to grab the reader's attention. So, i-focus nyo lang sila doon sa pinaka-aim and objective ng study ninyo. So, it provides essential background information in relation to your research and sets the tone or context for the rest of the writing. So, inihahanda ninyo yung mga nagbabasa para doon sa susunod na bahagi ng inyong research. So, ito yung sinasabi natin na role at laman ng tinatawag nating introductory statement. After writing the introductory statement, we now move on to the body of your manuscript. So this is represented by topic 1 to topic 4. Bakit apat na topics? I recommend that you at least choose 4 topics na gagamitin ninyo sa pagsusulat ninyo ng body ng inyong chapter 2. So ulitin natin, kanina pinag-usapan natin yung method at yung approach na gagamitin ninyo, which is deductive, and the other one, ilagay na natin dito, is thematic. So when you start writing the body, ulitin natin, dapat i-observe ninyong itong deductive and thematic. So kapag sinabi namang thematic, the topic should be relevant. First of all, yung mga topics ninyo should be anchored and relevant to the research title that you are conducting. So itong mga topics na ito will support your claims, your arguments, your research aim based on the research title. Pero dapat sumusunod siya sa deductive at sa thematic. So sabi natin kanina, kapag deductive, ang paraan ng pagsusulat ay from general to specific. Na kapag thematic naman, ibig sabihin dapat relevant. Sino o ano yung relevant? Relevant dapat yung topic 2 sa naunang topic. Topic 2 should be relevant, a continuation of the previous topic, which is topic 1. Pero itong topic 1 compared to topic 2 should be deductive. If topic 1 is general, dapat yung topic 2 mas specific na siya. So halimbawa, yung research ninyo based on local or setting ng inyong discussion, sinimulan niyo yung topic 1 sa Asia. So halimbawa, ang topic 1, ang focus niya in terms of local is Asia. And then doon naman sa topic 2, ang focus ng discussion ninyo will now be in the Philippines. And then after topic 2, which is the Philippines, specific area na, which is NCR or National Capital Region, which is a more specific part sa research or sa Philippines that is included in your research. And then after NCR, dito sa topic 4, pwede nyo nang i-discuss o isama yung specific local ng inyong study. Saan gagawin yung research ninyo. So that is what we mean by deductive, from general to specific, using this particular example which focuses on the local para makita nyo lang kung paano dapat ini-implement yung deductive. Naulitin natin kapag relevant itong topic 1, sabi natin, whatever is the label or the heading na gagamitin nyo dyan sa topic 1, ipapaliwanag natin mamaya, should be a continuation on topic 2. Okay? So, this is represented by these arrows. So, after the introductory statement, it will now proceed doon sa topic 1. And then after writing topic 1, doon naman sa topic 2, which should be relevant to one another. And then after that, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5, and so on and so forth. Okay, now, what do we mean by the first part? So we are only going to get one sample of this diagram, yung topic 1, dahil uulitin nyo lang naman doon sa mga susunod na bahagi, sa mga susunod na topic. So when we talk about topic, topic sentence, and supporting sentences, this is what we mean para ma-distinguish ninyo anong pagkakaiba nitong tatlo. Topic, topic sentence, and supporting sentences. So when we talk about topic, this refers to the subject that you will be discussing in your narrative. So in this particular case, sa paragraph na isusulat ninyo, ito yung nagre-represent ng subject. Kaya ang topic represents the label, the heading, the title of your paragraph. Okay? So this refers to the title, the label, or the heading of your paragraph. This refers to the topic. So ang pag-uusapan ninyo halimbawa ay effect of blended learning in Asia, effect of blended learning in Asia. Yun yung heading ninyo, blended learning in Asia. Okay? So that is our example for topic 1. And then when we talk about topic sentence, so by definition, ang topic sentence naman is a clear and concise, specific statement that introduces, statement lang ha, so isang sentence lang siya, that introduces the main idea, which is the topic. The topic is where you will find the main idea. It introduces the main idea or the central theme of a paragraph. Yun ang topic sentence ninyo. Isa lang siyang pangungusap kung saan nagsasabi o nagpapaliwanag kung tungkol saan yung heading o label na inyong inilagay o isinulat. Okay? So again, I'm going to emphasize isang sentence lang is enough for this particular part. Kaya nga siya tinawag na topic sentence. Okay, the next part is the supporting sentence or supporting sentences. After presenting or writing the topic, na-decide nyo na kung ano yung topic ninyo, topic sentence, and then the supporting sentence is defined as, ito yung mga susuporta doon sa topic sentence, yung mas magpapaliwanag, yung mas magbibigay ng linaw doon sa inyong topic sentence. So by definition, topic sentence is a sentence that provides additional information, examples, or evidences to further explain or support the main idea or topic sentence. Ito nga, okay, of a paragraph. To continue, while the topic sentence introduces the main idea of the paragraph, ito namang supporting sentence, ine-expound, pinapaliwanag. So kung yung topic sentence isang pangungusap lang, itong supporting sentence magpapaliwanag further doon sa sentence na nakalagay diyan sa inyong topic sentence. Okay? Now, to continue, to expound what is already presented doon sa topic sentence on that idea and provide specific details, examples, or explanations. So ito yung kaakibat na laman nitong supporting sentence. So ito dapat ay isang narrative, isang pagpapaliwanag na manggagaling sa researcher. Kayo ang magsusulat, mag-iisip nito. Okay? Ano at tungkol saan? Ano ang inyong issue? Ano ang inyong pinipresent? Tungkol saan ito? At ano yung mga ebidensya nito? Okay? Now, to continue, they, meaning the supporting sentences, help develop and strengthen the main point by offering evidence. Sabi nga natin, ano yung ebidensya ninyo, yung argumento ninyo, or relevant information ninyo. So again, these parts, in one way or another, are really there to help and support one another. So magsisimula sa topic, susuportahan ng topic sentence, susuportahan ito ng supporting sentence. So this is what we mean by the first three parts ng inyong topic 1. Okay, now, after presenting your supporting sentences, okay, we are going to move on now doon sa next part, which is citation. So when we talk about citation, by definition, ito naman yung citation. So I know that you already have an idea when we talk about citation. These are sources that are acknowledged in part of your discussion. So itong mga sources na ito, pag ang pinag-uusapan natin ay sources, are part of your evidences. Nagpapatibay, nagpapalakas doon sa sinabi ninyo na talagang existing yung problema, meron talagang mga naaapektuhan itong problema na ito, at merong pangangailangan na gawin itong study na ito. So again, let us go to the definition ng citation. Citation refers to the process of acknowledging and referencing the source of information na ginamit ninyo sa inyong discussion. Acknowledging the source of information or ideas that you have used in your work, specifically dito sa inyong research. It is a way to give credit to the original author or creators and allows the readers to locate and verify kung totoo nga based doon sa citation ninyo na ito yung pinanggalingan at ito yung nakalagay doon sa source ninyo. So, meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng citation na pwede nyong gamitin kapag kayo ay nagsusulat ng inyong research paper. Dito na papasok sa citation yung literature and studies ninyo. So kapag ang ginagamit ninyong paraan ng pagsusulat ay thematic approach, hindi na yung kagaya noon na naka-sequential lang yung arrangement niya. Tapos minsan wala namang kinalaman yung unang topic doon sa susunod na topic. And then there are also formats na nakahiwala yung local na citations, na sources doon sa foreign na resources or na references. So meron kayong tinatawag na local study, foreign study. Meron din kayong tinatawag na local literatures and foreign literatures. In this particular approach na ginagamit ngayon sa karamihan ng mga research papers, deductive and thematic na siya. So hindi na siya nakasegregate, nakaseparate na local and foreign. Okay, so that is what we mean by the next part, which is citation. The last part of this particular area ng inyong writing will be the synthesis. It is important that you synthesize. So when we talk about synthesis, the last part, okay, so we have already discussed topic, sentence, supporting, citation, and then we move on to synthesis. So when we talk about synthesis, by definition, again, this refers to the act of combining. When you synthesize, ang ibig sabihin ng synthesize is to put together, to combine. Ano ang pagsasamahin? Hindi siya literal na finfuse. Okay? Yung synthesizing ninyo is just establishing the relationship of yung citation ninyo, yung reference ninyo, doon sa study na ginagawa ninyo. So when you synthesize, again, this refers to establishing the relevance of what? Your reference, your source, to the study that you are conducting. So you have to establish, put them together. Anong kinalaman nung reference ninyo sa study na ginagawa ninyo? Yun ang isusulat nyo ngayon. Ito ngayon ang ilalagay ninyo. At ito ngayon yung tinatawag nating synthesis. To continue, a synthesis sentence typically occurs in the concluding paragraph. That is why yung synthesis niyo nasa last part ng inyong paragraph. Okay? Supposed to be for every topic, dapat kahit papaano meron kayong synthesis na inilalagay sa inyong paper. Kasi yung iba hindi na ginagawa. Kaya ang nakikita na lang is puro citations. which is wrong, which is a big no in writing this part of your research paper. So again, to continue, it should be located in the concluding paragraph or section of a research paper or an essay. It summarizes the main points or arguments presented throughout the writing and presents comprehensive views or conclusions based on synthesized information. Based on the references na ginamit ninyo sa inyong paragraph, establish ninyo kung ano yung mga nakita nyo dito. Establish meaning i-relate ninyo ito sa study na ginagawa ninyo. Ulitin natin, itong relevance na makikita ninyo, may establish ninyo, ang tatawagin natin ngayong synthesis ng inyong writing. To continue, assuming that you have already written topic 1 to topic 4, we now move on to the next part, which is grand synthesis. If you observe, there are 4 green arrows. Merong 4 na arrow dyan na galing sa topic 1 to topic 4. Lahat sila ay tumuturo o nagtuturo papunta doon sa grand synthesis. Hindi kagaya nitong mga arrow na may kinalaman doon sa relevance ng topic doon sa susunod na topic. Ang kahulugan nito ay lahat dapat ng kaalaman, lahat ng impormasyon na nalaman ninyo sa topic 1 to topic 4 ay dapat gamitin at ma-synthesize. Ibig sabihin, ma-integrate dito sa grand synthesis para mas mapalakas, mas masuportahan yung inyong claim at yung aim ng inyong research paper. Now, tignan natin kung ano ang kahulugan o definisyon ng tinatawag nating grand synthesis. So, ang grand synthesis by definition is a skillful integration of diverse information. Yung diverse information natin dito ay tumutukoy doon sa topic 1 to topic 4 to create a unified, a synthesized piece of work that contributes to the understanding of a particular subject. In this case, yung particular subject ninyo ay may kinalaman doon sa title ng inyong research. It presents an understanding that emerges from the synthesis of multiple views or ideas. So, bawat topic may synthesis kayo. Yung mga synthesis na yon, pagsasama-samahin ninyo yung nalaman ninyo na laman ng synthesis. At yun yung tinatawag nating grand synthesis. It goes beyond merely summarizing. Hindi lang siya summary. Hindi po siya summary lang ng mga nalaman ninyo at regurgitating individual sources. Hindi yung inuulit nyo lang kung ano yung synthesis ng topic 1, uulitin nyo lang kung ano yung synthesis ng topic 2, at hanggang sa topic 4, tapos pagsasama-samahin ninyo, pero yun lang din ang laman. So, hindi ganun yung tinatawag nating grand synthesis. Kailangan i-narrate ninyo, i-paraphrase ninyo kung anong meron, kung anong common, kung anong pagkakaiba ng bawat kaalaman, ng bawat knowledge from topic 1 to topic 4 at gawan nyo ngayon ng synthesis. I-relate nyo itong mga nalaman ninyo doon sa research na kinokonduct ninyo. And then a new understanding or interpretation by connecting and integrating the relevant information. So sa pamamagitan ng paggawa nitong grand synthesis, there is a possibility na pwede na kayo magkaroon ng idea na merong panibago o makabagong impormasyon na naaayon din sa research na ginagawa ninyo. Kaya sabi natin kanina, itong mga impormasyon na ito ay dapat based on evidence, based on references, sources, at based dito sa synthesis na sinulat ninyo. Now, after establishing and writing yung grand synthesis ninyo, the last part is what we call a unified idea. So ano naman itong unified idea natin? So by definition, dito, ang unified idea is a statement that supports the aim, claim, and arguments of the research. So saan makikita ito? Ito ay bahagi ng grand synthesis. So itong unified idea ay bahagi ng grand synthesis, yung ipinaliwanag natin kanina na dapat sa pamamagitan ng pagkuha ng mga magkakaibang kaalaman na nakuha nyo sa topic 1 to topic 4, pwede kayong makabuo ng panibagong kaalaman. Ito yung pinatawag nating bahagi ng grand synthesis ninyo. At yung unified idea naman ay yung mga pinagsama-sama ng kaalaman na nanggaling doon sa topic ninyo na sumusuporta doon sa sabi nga natin yung aim, yung claim at yung argument ng inyong research. Ulitin natin, itong unified idea ay bahagi ng inyong grand synthesis. So dito ay makikita o magkakaroon na kayo ng idea kung paano dapat isulat ang inyong ikalawang kabanata, Review of Related Literature and Studies. Ang kailangan nyo na lang gawin dito sa bahagi na ito ay magbasa, magbasa, at magbasa para makakuha kayo ng ebidensya na kakailanganin ninyo para mapatunayan yung mga argumento at yung mga claim at yung direksyon ng research na gusto nyong gawin. Again, I hope you were able to take away something from this particular video discussion related to the template guide in writing chapter 2. I would like to invite all of you again to please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Toked Padama and follow my TikTok account with the same name. Follow my FB page entitled Practical Research, and don't forget to please share and like this video to your friends, to your colleagues, to your classmates, or to your group mates in your research writing. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe, God bless, and I will definitely see you on our next video discussion. Goodbye, everyone.